What's up, Steeler fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and we're about to dive right into this thing, man. Where should we begin? I mean, you guys probably already know what I'm going to talk about. Basically, you know, if you've been watching the TV or reading your social medias or what have you, you already know what direction I'm going to go in. So we're going to definitely dive into that here in just a moment. Now, give me just a second, guys. We're going to dive right in. But, of course, you know, like I always do, I'm going to send the stream out to a few special people. Then we'll do, our daily, well, not daily, but our weekly roll call really quick before we dive all the way into the topic. And then, you know, we'll talk a little bit about that. I'll see what you guys have to say. Then we'll be up out of here. All right, so give me just a moment here. And what's up to everybody currently tuning in? Let me get everybody else involved here. Oh, man. What a mess. What a mess. But at least we got a little bit of resolution. At least we already know exactly what's going on. And shout outs to my homie, Antoine Myers, coming through with the donation. We're going to give him a round of applause. Appreciate that, Twan, man. Really appreciate the donation, man. And it's funny, man, because people are always telling me I should always tell you guys how to do that. You know, I'm a little bashful when it comes to that because I don't like doing that. But you know, in case you guys want to, right there in the chat, it's called Super Chat. You click on that little $sign, and you can make your donation. And I'm looking at myself here in the mirror. It looked like I had a little something there from eating dinner, so I apologize for that if you guys are seeing some food stuck around my mouth. I keep it real with you guys. But anyway, man, let's do a quick roll call here, man, and then we'll get started. I already saw Debbie in the building. Glad to see that. Nays, what's going on, Nays? Oh, Lord, there he is already at it, but it is what it is. Jordan Mid, more AGWS. What's up, my man? I saw you already retweeted everything there on Twitter, so I know you're well engaged, man. I appreciate that. My homie Dez talking about Le'Veon and Lamar. That could be a little crazy. I don't know, Dez. I really don't know, man. I'm not saying it just because you're a Ravens fan. I don't know. I don't know if I like that dynamic and that type of offense. You understand? I mean, of course, if Lamar is going to take some more steps, then yeah, but I don't know if I like that dynamic with Le'Veon Bell. I think Le'Veon Bell is a more of I know I'm going to get the ball type of guy, more so than, you know, running the read option and things. I don't know. Just my opinion. Why Diggy? My brother Tony in the building. Hello, Debbie. Debbie's in the building. Dro's Hill. Big Dro. Lance Watson. The good brother Kenyon Wright is in the building. And that's where we'll leave it. What's up, Rel Fax? I almost missed you right there, but I see Rel Fax in the building as well. Michael Garman, and okay, that's all we got for now. JJ Walker, J Keith, and all right, let's go ahead and get it. Nah, I ain't scared, Dez. I'm serious. And guys, I want you guys to expand on that a little bit. With Dez is proposing Le'Veon Bell and Lamar Jackson. Me personally, again, I think the offense that they currently run and the success that they've had with the running backs who are there, I don't necessarily see paying Le'Veon Bell that type of money. Also, I don't like the type of back that Le'Veon Bell is being in that type of offense. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't like Bell in that type of read option type of offense. Nah. Le'Veon Bell needs to be the featured back. Not, you know, deciding if it's a handoff or not. That's just my opinion. But yeah, let's go ahead and get it cracking, man. Antonio Brown. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to talk as much as I can, and then I'm going to refer it to you guys, and I don't really have much after that, so I promise you guys this one may not be that long of a show. First and foremost, it's good to see that there's some resolution already. They had the meeting. Both the ownership and Antonio Brown have decided it's time to move on. Okay, so he met with Art Rooney, and excuse me, guys, I feel like my dinner is still, you know, in my teeth. So I apologize for that. Let me drink some water here in a moment. But yeah, man, it's good to see that there's some resolution, meaning that, okay, we've decided, we both think it's time to move on. Great. But it's just like what I'm putting in the title there, man. I feel like the Steelers are rapidly losing leverage in terms of this trade. And the reason why I say that is a couple things. Number one, okay, we can't look past the fact that Antonio Brown will turn 31 this year. Do I think Antonio Brown is still a great receiver? Absolutely. I mean, it's not that often, and even Drew Rosenhaus said himself, and I have to agree with him, it's not that often that you have a guy of Antonio Brown's caliber up for trade, regardless of age. You know, even if we put age aside, we know Antonio Brown is still going to be Tony Toe Tap. Wait. Mr. Big Chest is what he wants to be called now. I refuse to call him that, but that's what he wants to be called and wants to be referred to as Mr. Big Chest. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to just talk about the names that we know him. AB is going to be AB. Tony Toe Tap is going to be Tony Toe Tap. I feel that way. For how many years? I don't know. You know, I'm pretty sure he's starting to be more on the downside, only because, again, Father Time is undefeated. Every now and then you get those anomalies. I know I probably said that wrong. Apologize for that. Every now and then you get that. You get that one-off type of guy that a Darryl Green type of guy who can still run the 40 in which he ran it at his years. You know, some of you older guys will know who I'm referring to when he was with the Redskins. You know, every now and then you'll get a Jerry Rice that's playing well into his 30s and, you know, still was relatively, you know, productive. Every now and then you'll get that. You know, every now and then you'll get Adrian Peterson, what we see right now, him still being able to run the way he's running in his early 30s. But it doesn't happen that often. It doesn't happen that often. Now, this is a new day and age. Antonio Brown takes care of his body like nobody else. He trains like nobody else. People continuing to say he's the hardest working guy in the game still. You know, so I do believe he still has some years to offer. But what I'm saying is we can't act like, you know, 5 years from now, somebody giving him a 5-year deal, we can't act like we believe that he's still going to be the same Antonio Brown in the next 4 years, 4 to 5. That's number one. So that kind of devalues the trade a little bit, just a little bit, depending on what a team wants to spend. So okay, we get past that. We get past that, and we feel like, okay, this guy is a specimen. He's gonna be that guy even 34 years old. You know, we're gonna invest 3-4 more years in him. Okay, so you get past that. Number two, his diva ways. He's shown you that this is the type of guy he is. Again, I'm not criticizing him as a man. I refuse to do that. I don't know him personally. I refuse to sit on the sideline and criticize. That's just the way I live my life. Okay, I could give my opinion, but I'm never going to blatantly just criticize somebody. All right, I'm not going to do that. Have I done that in the past? Of course, we all have. But listen, I've grown past that. Just not that type of guy. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to attack his character. However, the character that he's showing us doesn't look that great. You know, it looks like the type of guy that's still going to be upset if the ball isn't coming his way. Still going to be upset if he's on a team that's not winning. And I'm going to get to that point here in just a moment as well, about the winning team. So you still might get that same frustrated guy kicking over the Gatorade bottle. You know, antics in the locker room. Things like that. Some players feeling like, you know, he's a bit selfish. I don't think that's going to go away. I don't believe that he's doing that because he's in Pittsburgh. Remember, there's reports of him doing these type of things early on in his career before he was the man. So that's just who he is. That's not going to change. That could be unattractive. Okay, now let's get to the third thing. You're out here demanding what you want before the trade even happens. AB out here talking about what, you know, basically kind of saying the teams that can meet this, and that, then y'all holler at me. As if it's in his hands. As if he's controlling this situation. Making demands, guaranteeing money and all of that. So you are basically telling the team that might trade for you, yeah, y'all go ahead and do that, but let it be known that we need to talk contract. as soon as I'm traded. So that sounds like potential holdout. I'm just saying, guys, I don't know for sure. I'm just going off of his actions. The way he's going about it to me is completely wrong, man. Just say you want to be out and let that be that. I think his constant talking and the way he's dragging this thing out, it could cause the Steelers a little more headache than we would expect trying to trade him. And here's the last thing. Speaking of that, it makes it tougher on the Steelers for one reason. Other teams know now exactly what your intentions are and know that you really want to get him out of there. So they're going to play the low ball game at first. Now maybe, you know, you get it into some type of bidding situation and you make a team come up with the best offer. Maybe you still pull a second rounder out of there. That's what I'm hoping. I said that last week. You're probably going to still get a second rounder. But listen, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, my confidence that they're going to get a first round pick for AB, it ain't there no more. Nobody. I'm not feeling that way right now. Now, I know what some of you guys are going to say, because listen, some people only hear part of what you say. And even worse, some people can't take away their feeling for the player and what they think this player is and what they think their team should get. You can't separate that from reality. Reality would tell you that he may not be a first round pick value right now, but again, because of his age, whether you like it or not, we're asking teams to take a gamble and say, okay, this guy who will be turning 31 in this season is going to be more valuable for me than a young guy, young buck I can get on a rookie contract. That's all I'm saying. We got to think business, guys. Business. They know Antonio Brown probably ain't going to be on their team 4 years from now. I'm just saying, think about it from a business standpoint. It's not as attractive as we think. We're all getting, and I say we, I'm going to include myself in that even though I'm not included. I always say we when I talk about Steeler Nation. You know, we're so stuck on his production, what he's done for the Steelers over the last 9 years. You can't think about it like that. 9 years. Plus 9 years is a long time for any NFL receiver. We all know that. How many times have we seen receivers come and go? Okay? And then again, you think the optics look good on Antonio Brown with how he handled that situation in Cincinnati in Week 17? How it was publicly known that the owner hadn't talked to Antonio Brown until just this past, earlier this week. I think they met with maybe over the weekend. You see what I'm saying? The public knew that him and Coach Tomlin hadn't talked. Him and Kevin Colbert haven't talked. I'm just saying, AB is rapidly decreasing the value. Now here's some hope. We hope that there's a team out there that's still going to take the bait. Excuse me. We definitely hope there's a team that's still going to take the bait, and they're going to say, you know what, we're going to give it a shot. We have nothing else to lose. We got one heck of a player here, all-star, Hall of Fame guy. We're going to take a chance. Somebody's going to do it. That one team, at least 5 teams or so might have high interest in doing something like that. And hey, you might pull out a first-round pick. And so don't come back to this video after it happens and you guys try to be on some, see, you were wrong. No, it ain't about that. It ain't about being right or wrong. It's about what I think, trying to use logic. I wouldn't expect a team that's smart about it to jump out the window like that. I don't expect a Bill Belichick to do that. I don't. Now, however, I'll counter that same point. Bill Belichick might. You know why he might? Because Bill Belichick is the type of guy that will pay Darrelle Revis a 1-year contract. You know that, so you never know. But the Steelers ain't trading to the Patriots. I don't see that happening. But most NFL teams that are in the predicament to where they can win right now, I don't know if I think those teams are going to trade for him. So that goes against his whole thing about, I just want to win. I feel you, homie. But let me ask you something, AB. Where you think you going, where you're going to win? Like, realistically, again, guys, let's think about business. Where you think the Steelers going to send you to where your chances of winning are significantly high? And I heard a couple teams floating around out there. I heard a few people said the Seattle Seahawks could be a good, good move. I agree with that, and you probably could get some wins out there in Seattle with Russell Wilson, and just the kind of pedigree that those guys seem to show, the grit and toughness that they always seem to be around, even though their defense is aging. But who else? The Packers, maybe. That's doable. I actually did that in my Madden franchise. I traded him to the Packers for their number 12 pick. So we'll see how that pans out. But that's interesting, maybe. But again, is that team ready to win right now? We'll see what kind of changes they make to their defense. Again, guys, we got to look at it like this. The same way we look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and our defense and the woes that we have is the same way we got to look at these other teams. A lot of these other teams are not going to change, completely change and drastically change, okay, in just one season. And they're going to be worlds better on defense. The same way we're not going to be worlds better. The same way that the Steelers are actually finished the season at number 6 overall is a good sign, because that just goes to show you in terms of league wide, there's a few holes that we have to plug, but we're right there. And obviously, us being Steelers fans, that don't sound that simple to us because we've been watching the same woes be in that defense for the last 4 years. But the truth of the matter is, they are right there. They are right there if they can fix situational defense. Get more turnovers. Steelers might be right there. We'll see what happens on the defense. We know the problems. I'm just saying, if we look at what's really the issue, those things can be corrected with better talent, number one, and better coaching, number 1, 2. The 1A, 1B. Better coaching from Butler situationally and or Tomlin, if Tomlin is overriding some of these situations during those situations. Got to get better in those areas. But what I'm saying is, if we look at the defense as a whole, the stats don't lie. Not that far off. But I'm just trying to figure out where Antonio Brown gonna go. Realistically, that's a contender. All of the teams, I keep hearing people say, even Le'Veon Bell the same way, where they're thinking these guys are gonna end up. They're not contenders. The Colts could make an argument. The Colts could be a good fit for a guy like Antonio Brown and or a Le'Veon Bell. And yes, they have, you would think they're set. They're in place to be a winner, because we saw what they were able to do last year, the way they turned that season around. A couple playmakers away. Imagine throwing Antonio Brown in that mix. With a T.Y. Hilton that you might be able to slide inside sometimes. Interesting, right? Le'Veon Bell, yay. But again, I think they got a lot of production out of their back. I think they need more of a number 1, type, another receiver, another real threat out there. Because T.Y. Hilton, has done some things, but I think he's cooled off a little bit. But other than that, man, I'm just saying, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see the Steelers trading within the AFC North. And they're probably not willingly going to trade in the AFC unless they get an offer that they can't refuse. But again, I just would like to know which team is Antonio Brown going to that's going to be a bona fide winner. Since that's what he claims, I just want to win. Okay, I get you. And we can't forget this fact. Here's a big one. 2 things I'm going to say about Ben Roethlisberger. Number 1, I think Antonio Brown can excel on any football team, any football field. Real talents can do that. But I'm not going to sit here and act like that Antonio Brown doesn't benefit from Ben Roethlisberger, and vice versa. They benefit from each other because of the chemistry that they developed. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and act like that doesn't exist. You're going to have to try to get that chemistry down with somebody else. And it's part of the reason why Roethlisberger threw a lot of interceptions, because a lot of times, they were trusting themselves so much. He's throwing the ball before he's even at the spot. And there you have it. But at the same time, we can't discredit the hookup and the style of play that Ben Roethlisberger has. That definitely has benefited Antonio Brown, and yes, it has benefited Ben as well. Here's the other thing I'm going to say about Ben Roethlisberger. Antonio Brown is making this conversation not about Ben Roethlisberger no more. He's making it very easy for Roethlisberger to just slide right on out of the fault. You know, where he's getting further and further away because he's keeping quiet. You know what I mean? Antonio Brown's antics make it look more, and again, I don't think I believe this to be true, and I don't, you know, maybe some of you guys don't, but the optics of it make it seem more like, oh, so this is the guy they had to deal with all these years. He's making himself look worse. And it's the same thing I said about Le'Veon Bell, man. Just, guys, the easiest way to not become the villain is just keep quiet, keep a low pro. And then you flip it. Then you make it seem as if the organization made the mistake. But when we can physically see all of this stuff unfolding and transpiring on social media, it's very easy for someone to say, oh, it was him the whole time. So, listen, man, it's just good that we got some closure. We knew this was going to happen. I hope you guys keep more of a realistic mindset when you're thinking about the trade value. Again, think about all of the factors on the table. Don't just sit there and try to think about his production over the last 9 years. It doesn't work like that. And the more he chirps, the more he's making it tougher to demand, you know, top dollar for Antonio Brown. Again, just like I have it in the title there, I think he is the Steelers are rapidly losing leverage in terms of trading Antonio Brown. And I don't know. You know, his agent seems to think that they're going to get the best offer. And, you know, they're saying all the right things. We want what's best for us and the Steelers. We'll see. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's a team who is willing to go out there and bust their gun and be like, forget it. We just going to go for it now. We'll take that first round pick if you're willing to do that. But we most definitely, you know, hopefully need to get at least a second. But I'm just saying, you know, I think it's making it tougher for them to trade the kid. So there you have it. The only thing else I got, man, before I come to you guys really quick, saw some interesting mock drafts. One of which, well, 3 of them I agree with. I saw 4 of them. 3 I agree with. The other one, not so much. And it's funny because we're talking about Antonio Brown. So I saw one mock had Marquise Brown as the Steelers' first round pick. And I'm like, no. Listen, that kid is dope. Hollywood Brown, I believe they call him. He's a heck of an athlete, outstanding playmaker. But that is not who I want in the first round. Absolutely not. No disrespect to him. We know the pedigree he comes from with Antonio Brown being his cousin. But no. I don't agree with that. And again, I just think that's impulsive from the beat writer or these guys, these analysts who do these mock drafts. I think a lot of times they go with the obvious, which in terms, that is what a mock draft is. You look for a place of need. But I think they're completely jumping the gun with that one. If the Steelers don't go defense in the first round, I mean, it needs to be a world beater. Number 1. Number 2, it need to be because the Steelers have 2 first-round picks. And that's what allowed them to get a top-notch receiver and some defensive help in the first round. Other than that, I would not like that. I would not like it at all if the Steelers go receiver or Marquise Brown at number 20. No way. No way. Unless, of course, if free agency has really gotten us some real deal talent. I don't know. But the other 3 names that I saw mocked, obviously I saw Mac Wilson, fully agree with that. I saw Devin White, fully agree with that. And I saw the kid DeAndre Baker, the corner out of Georgia, I believe. Okay, not bad. But I would prefer Murphy. Baker, you know, I gotta look at a little more of Baker's film. But I'm just thinking right now, and this might change. You know, I'm just starting to looking at some of these guys' film and, you know, seeing what they're able to do. Again, I told you guys I like to match it up with the combine. I'm liking the Murphy kid, man, the most right now without knowing anything else as far as testing, combine, pro days. I just like what I see on tape. If we're talking about first round, there's a bunch of other DBs, you know, I like to see maybe later. But if we're talking about a first round guy, that's who I'm looking at right now in terms of the cornerback. So, yeah, let's go ahead and see what you guys got to say, man, and then we'll be out of here. We'll spend a few moments with you guys and then we'll be out of here. Fire away. It looks like you guys have been really talking. For some of you guys who are new to the channel, man, obviously you understand if I'm looking at the camera, I'm not looking at the comments, so I'm sure I missed a ton of them. So that's why, I try to wait until the end and tell you guys to fire away, and I'll start, addressing some of your comments. Kenya said Baker is nice, but Murphy is younger and has a better IQ. I agree with that, Kenya. Luis Devara says, end of the AB era. Very disappointing, but with the negativity going on with him at the end, it is time to move on. Now, can James Washington move to the number 2 receiver position and be productive? I think James Washington can be productive. I think we just have to be mindful that he's not going to be Antonio Brown. But I think, man, just seeing what we saw out of the kid in college, seeing what he did later in the season, we see what he can be. The real question is Juju as the number 1 receiver going to still be the guy? Is he going to demand double teams and such? That's what we have to wait and see. If it gets to a point where teams feel like they can play Juju head up and they don't have to rotate so much coverage over to him because he's not Antonio Brown, that's more what I want to see. More so than I definitely want to see Washington improve. But the question is, can Juju be the man as a number 1? Cecil Clark says we need to stop thinking we will be hopeless without. I'm not calling him that name. He ain't gonna get me to call him that. He's AB to me. Y Diggy said the Green Bay trade could be good, but if he had issues with Ben passive aggressiveness, how is he gonna deal with Aaron Rodgers passive aggressiveness? Very true. Very true. Very true. I mean, hey, round of applause for that one. Very true there, buddy. Real facts. This whole offseason needs to be about defense. Hey, can't disagree with that one, brother. Let me see. I lost my place. Wait. Here we go. Vista Light 1972. What if we trade up with the Raiders for one of their first round? It all depends, man. It all depends on what we're working with come the draft time. We got to see. There's a lot of factors that go into that, but it all comes down to what we get from AB, that trade, what's done in free agency, and then we can talk about, moves and such. But we got to see what we're working with heading into the draft. Tony says, hey, JJ, if he's not on our team, he's a bum. Oh, so Tony, I'm guessing Tony out there calling AB a bum. Tony, look, that's what Tony do, man. And we feel the same way. Listen, if you ain't on the Steelers, whatever. We give you your props, but like I'm already past AB. Like I told y'all, you guys seen, if some of you guys that watched my game and stuff, you saw I traded AB to the Packers just in the video I just posted yesterday. So I'm already past that era. Leonard says, would it be funny if Bell and AB go to the same team? Yeah, I can see that happening. Possibly again, a team like the Colts. I could see that. But I just feel like too, on one hand, man, I don't know. Unless it's somewhere like the Colts, I don't see any one of these guys going to a team that's just going to be a winner just like that. Because those teams who are in position to win, I think very few of them are going to spend the money for Bell, possibly AB. Now, you think about a team like the Rams that could have used another receiver. I know Cooper Kupp, was one of their main targets, but just imagine the Rams having an AB and then allowing Robert Woods and Cooks to be able to cook out there, pun intended. You see what I'm saying? It could be a team like that where McVay and them might just be like, look, we got a shot now. I could see that happening. I just don't think it's a lot of teams. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think it's a bunch of them. And I would prefer, if it's somebody like the Rams, I would prefer not in terms of the first round, because I need an early pick if I'm the Steelers now. We either need an early first round or we need multiple picks. And I don't know if AB is going to demand that. So that's what I'm saying there. Marlon Nicholson says, Tomlin should have been finding and disciplining AB from the start and holding Ben more accountable. You know what? I'm going to agree with you, Marlon, but I will shoot the coach a little bit of bail in this regard. However he played it still wouldn't be good enough for us Steeler Nation. It wouldn't. Because let's say he did that. Again, I'm going to use this example. after the Facebook Live incident, what would we have said if he would have benched Antonio Brown for the AFC Championship game? What would have been our feeling? And we would have lost the game. We probably would have totally forgot how bad the defense looked, and we would have been saying, see, if Antonio Brown would have played in that game, you know, you got to be dumb to not play your star receiver. And I'm just saying. And finding ain't doing nothing. You know, who's to say he didn't find AB? I don't think all of that was disclosed. Now, the discipline part of it, listen, that's the dice that Tomlin chose to roll out there. He's done it since he's been in Pittsburgh. And it just so happens Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell were pretty much the only two guys who have made it seem as if he doesn't have a handle on his team. Look at everybody else who has come through there and still there that don't have these problems. So I can't say that his method is wrong. You know, you have one extreme to the other. You have total disciplinarian, and then you have a guy who's a little more relaxed and allowing guys to be men. So I get it. It's easy for us to say it based off of the results, because I can guarantee you, and I probably would have been one of them, had he been disciplining AB very, very strongly and sat him down and we lost, first thing I would have said was, man, that's crazy. You can't sit him down. So it's a no-win situation in my opinion. All in all, I would say yes, it does need to be more discipline and things happening, you know, but if he chooses to run his ship the way he did, honestly, we can't say it wasn't successful when it's only AB pretty much who's acted this way in his tenure. So that's a tough one. Wait a minute. We got another donation, man. BSG, round of applause for the donation. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that, brother, man. You guys are too kind. Too kind. All right, let me see where I was at, man. More AG says Greedy Williams. Yeah, that would be nice. Lance Watson says, Sim, do you think we will release AB? That's the other thing I wanted to talk about, man. I'm glad you reminded me of that. That's the interesting thing about this whole situation. What if we don't get what we're looking for in the trade? You think they just cut him? I don't know, man. Now, if you look at it from a money standpoint, it's only a $1 million difference if he's cut outright versus the cap hit. I'm going to be honest with you, as a business, I ain't cutting him. I'll let him just sit there. Or I will play him. And then if he gets out of hand, all right, I'm going to sit you down. But I'm not going to just release you outright, because that's more of what you want. So in my opinion, nah. If they don't trade him, they're not going to give him that much leverage. They're not cutting him. At least not for one season. I wouldn't. I definitely would not. That's just my opinion. And I know, yeah, it's a cancer in the locker room and all of that, but at the end of the day, listen, I still have to show some precedence as a business. So where other players have to respect my business and how I conduct business, I can't just let you go that easy. No way. Just my opinion. Let me see. I know I've missed a lot of these. Let me find another one that I haven't read yet. Jesse George says, I also think Antonio is making a huge mistake here. Just like all of the other wide receivers that left Pittsburgh, they ain't going to get fed like they are with Ben. He forces it to AB all day. Very, very true, man. And that could be a good thing for us, to where if you don't have AB, maybe Ben now has to spread the ball around. You know, let's just hope he doesn't fall in love with Juju, as he seemed like he did have a love affair, you know, openly saying, oh, we should have threw the ball to him 4 times. And that was dumb. You know, and listen, again, I'm not going to criticize Ben Roethlisberger, a person. I don't know him, but I just think that was the wrong time to make that comment. That clearly showed that there was some rift between him and AB. And if it wasn't, did you think that was going to be something that AB was just going to smirk at? So, I don't know, man. Dominion King says, I love the Steelers, but that Week 17 game against the Bengals was cringeworthy. Without AB, I'm just saying. You know what? You make a good point, man. And shout out to my father-in-law, Leonard. He makes that point a lot as well. I will say this, though. That was just one game. In my opinion, it was one game and it was against a divisional opponent. I mean, you're expecting AB to be there. It wasn't any real game planning. You know, if he was just there on Wednesday, and that's when you install all of your game plans. So, yes, I understand what you're saying, and that could be a sign to come. But again, it goes back to what I said. Juju going to have to step up. He's going to have to be definitely a well-respected number one in order for us to have any type of the same success that he experienced or our offense experienced while AB was there. Because you're right. It just didn't look good. It didn't look good. But again, if we take anything away from that game, let's keep that thought in our back pocket. But it was a divisional opponent with not a lot of preparation. You know, hadn't really solidified a real number two. So, you know, that I'm not going to let that one game make me feel that way. However, I'm not going to overlook that. Very good point. Let's find another couple here before we roll out. Champagne Poppy says, send AB to Detroit for their number 9 pick. Great. If they're willing to do it. That's the thing, man. We can't get lost in what we would want a team to do. The question is still going to be, is a team willing to give that up for Antonio Brown at this juncture, at this stage of his career, and with the antics that he's probably going to bring to the locker room? We can't overlook that. Luis Davala says, if Vance McDonald is still on the team, is it possible he gets more targets his way since he's shown he can be a very productive for the offense? I hope so, man. I really think we need to go to Vance McDonald a lot more. I mean, we saw what that kid is able to do in the open field, and maybe some of the defenses, you know, got a little used to him later in the year, but it still seemed like there were opportunities where he was open. Again, what this definitely does, you know, it takes the security blanket per se away from Ben Roethlisberger, where he's going to be forced to go through progressions. He's not going to be as confident with just throwing it up, even though Juju has shown that ability. Juju is a high point catcher, so don't be surprised if he ends up being the AB-esque type of target for Ben, where he's comfortable throwing it at him. But I think definitely it's going to have you reevaluate some things without having Antonio Brown as your number one. You're going to definitely have to look at other ways, and I'm talking right now, knowing that he's probably not going to be on the offense. I know they can't really communicate, but I'm sure Ben and Fichtner are thinking to themselves, okay, you know, let's prepare as if we're going to come out there with Juju as a number one, James Washington perhaps the number two. You know, we don't know what's going to happen in the draft, et cetera, et cetera. Excuse me, because it's very possible that we will just have gone from being a very, you know, fearful receiving core to a very mediocre receiving core. Because again, think about this season. After you get past AB and Juju, it was crapshoot, you know. And again, I'm not going to beat Washington up. He's a rookie. But coming into your second season and now you have an opportunity to be the man opposite Juju, yeah, it's showtime right now for James Washington. All right, man, I'm going to read a couple more of these, man, then we're going to be done. We're going to cut this thing off right about 40 minutes. So 2 more quick ones. Jay Keefe says they are ultimate team. They are ultimate team, guys. AB and Bell don't mind losing if they get their numbers. Yeah, I think you're saying they're not team guys. I don't know if I'm reading that correctly, but yeah, it does seem like those guys are somewhat about their numbers. I won't say that, you know, completely, because I don't know. Again, I don't know these guys personally, but we can only judge them off of what we see their actions are. So I agree with you there. All right, so the last comment here, man. Relfax says, maybe this is a sign that we need to transition to a defense-led team. We've been known as an explosive offense for the last 5 years. Maybe the defense can carry Ben to a Super Bowl like they did Peyton Manning. That would be phenomenal. And you might absolutely be right about that, Relfax. I think the Steelers have definitely, ever since the Killer Bees, you know, stepped on the field, we've become more what that offense can do, and the defense has lacked. So maybe this is going to give us an opportunity to get balanced again, you know. And again, it's just sad, man, because during that window, and I remember I told y'all I thought that window was closed. I've been said that, and it looks like it is now, at least with that team. It's just sad because if we had a little defense, offensively, we've had the talent the last 4 years to win one. We just couldn't rely on the defense. You know, and it's sad. That's not to steal away, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So, all right, man. Guess I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And yeah, I agree with Kenyon right there. He says Ben's 2 Super Bowls were carried by the defense, and he's absolutely correct. And maybe, again, you know, good point by Real Facts right there. Let's give Real Facts a round of applause. All right, so there you have it, guys. That's all I got. I have no more to talk about. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. So, all right, guys, in case you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, first of all, thank you for coming by. But don't forget to hit that like button. Show them green thumbs. Get them likes up. We got over 70 people in here watching. There's only 18 likes. I know y'all rock with me a little more than that. I know you do. Hit the like button. Number 2, if you're new, subscribe. We do this each and every week. We usually do it 2 times a week, you know, with a post-game show. Obviously, there's no game or post-game to talk about now, so we've reduced it down to just the 1-week show. And, you know, as we start getting more and more closer to the season, you know, free agency opens up and things like that, maybe I'll start adding some, you know, some sneak shows in here and there. You know, maybe we'll do a free agency watch. And every day we'll start, you know, analyzing who's getting picked, things like that. But go ahead and come on and be a part of the family, man. I'm sure you will enjoy it. And if you're a gamer, I do some gaming stuff as well. And then last but not least, if you are subscribed or once you subscribe, cut on the notifications, ring the bell so you know when the videos are available. How else are you going to watch? You got to know when they are available. But outside of that, man, that's all I got. I'm going to extend the invitation once again during this time, kind of the lull period. Come on the show. For any of you guys who want to come on and kick it, give your thoughts, your questions. I'm actually, let me put this out there. Maybe some of you guys can point me in the right direction. I'm actually looking into trying to get more of a switchboard type of situation where you guys can call in and there's a phone number that you can call. And I could, you know, I could keep, you know, calls in queue and take them like that. So if any of you guys know any software like that, point it in my direction. I'll look it over and see what's going to work, what's more comfortable for me to use. But I think I definitely want to get into that. I want to go away from this, you know, excuse me, the Skype and all of that. I want to make this thing, man, as easy and simple as possible. So if I could have a phone number where you guys can call, that would be great. So if any of you know any technology like that, let me know. I know it's gonna, you know, it's gonna, on my part, I'm gonna have to spend a little money or so to get that going, but I'm willing to do it. So let me know. Give me some suggestions. All right. So, all right. Outside of that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Hope you guys have a great night, depending on where you are in the country. Be safe. We got a ton of snow coming here tonight. And I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in South Central Pennsylvania, and that's where we're going to get hit a lot. So if you guys are along that corridor on the East Coast or what have you, on up, be safe. Snow is coming. Ice is coming. Prayers out to everybody, hoping nobody loses power. And everybody be safe out there. And yeah, maybe we'll get a day of work missed for our troubles. That would be great. But outside of that, man, catch you guys next week. And I thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday. Here we go, Steelers. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Peace.